wow, I don't like to think about Fred Phelps. That does take you out of your box. But a lot of you know that I'm a recovering alcoholic and I've been sober 9.5 years by the grace of God. And I'm going to share a little bit about my story. And I relapsed 7 or 8 times, and I was in treatment 7 or 8 times. And I have to tell you, the first time that I got sober was in 1990, and I went to my first treatment center. And I stayed sober for 1.5 years, and I have to tell you that life was really good. I had a great relationship with God because I was the one that had separated myself from God while I was out there practicing, as I like to say. And so, things were going really well, and then, I thought things were going so well that alcohol could definitely not be my problem. I thought it had to be women. So I decided to go back out and do some more research. And, of course, I found out that that wasn't the case, that, alcohol was my problem. And it took me 10 years to realize that my life needed to change. That, I don't know if you've heard the saying of doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, But that is exactly what I was doing. Expecting something to change, expecting to be able to be a social drinker or, to be able to handle alcohol. Because, I couldn't imagine my life without alcohol. Because alcohol was who I was. It was the person. Susie didn't know who Susie was without that in her life. Susie didn't know if she was fun. Susie didn't know if she was nice. I didn't know anything about myself because I totally thought that my life, that I couldn't live without alcohol. And the thing about it is, we all have something that keeps us from God, and that was the thing that kept me from God. And sometimes it might be a small thing, sometimes it might be a large thing. It might be a relationship, it might be finances, it might be all kinds of things that keep us from having this relationship with God that is waiting for us right here. And the last time that I went to treatment, on October 31st, in 1999, we were having a barbecue at our house, and there was an argument, and I left. And actually, everybody left, and I left, and I ended up wrecking my car. And I was out in the county, and I was trying to get my car out of this yard. And I couldn't get my car out of the yard, and I went up and knocked on the door, but nobody answered. And so, I got my car towed. I didn't get a DWI because I was in the county, and I don't quite understand it, but I didn't. And so, anyway, 2 days later, I decided to go to Valley Hope in Ashton, Kansas, and I'd been there before. And so I went there, and my partner at the time went to the house to talk to them about the insurance because I'd torn up their yard with my car. And the lady came to the door, and Amanda told her why she was there, and the lady said, she said, when I walked out of the house the next morning, she said I was really, really frightened because she said, I saw these tracks, and they were 10 feet from going into my little boy's bedroom. Now, the thing that Amanda came and recounted the story to me, and the next thing that the lady said was not that she was angry or that she was, totally hateful to me. What she said was, Amanda said, well, she's in Valley Hope in Ashton, Kansas. And she said, tell her we'll pray for her because my brother was there 6 years ago and he's still sober today. So of all the things that woman said, that was not what I expected her to say. And for me, it was a combination of things. Was it the fact that I, almost injured someone? Was it the fact that I was sick and tired of living my life the way it was? I'm not sure. But all I know is that the combination of those things and the fact that I went to a church the following Sunday after I heard that story. And the pastor there had been at our treatment center, and he actually was in recovery, and he had come and shared his story with us. And, he invited us to church, and so some of us went. And one of the things that happened to me there was I was listening to the music, I listened to the message, and I started crying. And this was my burning bush moment. You know, I truly felt God touch me that day, right there where I was standing. And I knew that my life was never going to be the same. I knew that God was with me at that moment. And I went home after I left the church service, and I went home and I called my parents. And this is a pretty simple way to put it to my parents, but my parents knew that I had been struggling with alcoholism for 10 years. And I told my mom, I said, Mom, I got it. And she called out to my dad. She said, George, she's got it. I didn't have to say any more than that. And my parents are Baptists, and so they knew that I obviously had this moment. Of course, I went ahead and explained the thing. But at that moment, for me, what it was that I was totally ready to surrender. And God was waiting right there for me.
That's right.
In that moment.
That's right.
And so, no matter what it is that separates us, you know, if we're really, really willing to totally surrender and let that go and not take it back, I promise you, God is waiting for us in that moment. And so, you know, now, 9 years later, I've been so blessed. I'm not saying it's always been easy, because I would be lying if I said that, because there's been moments in my life that, you know, have been struggles. But, you know what? I know that I'm not alone today. I know that God is with me, always. And again, it wasn't that God turned God's back on me. It was that I turned my back on God. And so the song I'm going to sing for you now is, it's my 9-year song, and it's called But Now I Know.